What's up, Flame Fam? Welcome back to another blazing episode of Anime Talk. I'm your host, Blaze Rod, bringing the fire as always. And today, after spending last episode with the villains, we're switching gears. And no, I am not talking about Luffy. Well, I guess I am in a minute. Because every great villain needs a great hero to stand against them. And anime has given us some of the most legendary heroes in fiction. So, let's talk about the heroes who define the genre. So, okay, here's the big question. What really makes an anime hero? You know, some are the chosen ones, and some are the underdogs, and some, well, they just kind of stumble into greatness. They just stumble into it. But they all share one thing. They carry the weight of their worlds on their backs. So let's just review some of the traits that we see over and over in every anime hero. We see their resilience. No matter how many times they fall, they get back up, and there are so many great examples of an anime hero's resilience, and we'll get to that. Their dream or purpose, something bigger than even themselves, and the ability to inspire others. Even side characters and rivals can't help but follow them. So, and sometimes even the hero isn't always the strongest. They're the ones who never give up on others. So, let's just take a dive in and just look at some of the most iconic heroes in anime. First off, we have our favorite Saiyan, Goku from Dragon Ball Z. The definition of limitless potential. Goku is not just a fighter, he is the spirit of pushing past our limits. And Goku is just one of those characters where you could get inspired by it, you may have mixed feelings about him in certain ways, but no matter how you feel about Goku, you can always agree on one thing. He's always striving to be the best fighter ever, at least the best fighter to protect his family. And I mean, it's just saying that he's always looking for a great challenge. And Goku, despite how his character is, he has always risen up the occasion to save his planet multiple times, even saving planets that isn't even his, like Planet Namek, for example. And Goku is actually also based on the Chinese folklore Sun Wukong from the Journey to the West. Because if you really dive into the lore, Son Goku basically means Wukong in Chinese or Japanese. I'm either Chinese or Japanese. I had to reread that. But it really just shows, if you really pay attention to Journey to the West, if you ever read Journey to the West, or have even played Black Myth Wukong, you will understand the characteristics of Sun Wukong being transferred into Son Goku. And Akira Toriyama has really dug deep and given us a character that we can be inspired by. Because Goku's always pushing himself to his limits. He always feels like there is a next level of power that is waiting to be achieved. And that's a mental thing that we all can learn from. There's always a next level for all of us. We just have to work hard and achieve that level. And once we get to that level, it's satisfying. And then you realize that there's a level beyond that, and there's another level beyond that other level. You know, it just keeps going. Like, you really realize by watching Goku's character that there are some limits, but there's no limits to, you know, your passion, your talents, anything that you do. And Goku is a great symbol of that work ethic and mentality. And that's probably why he's number one on this list. I mean, when you think of anime heroes, hopefully the first character you think of is Goku, because he saved the Earth many times over, along with his friends. So definitely understand why Goku is top on this list. Next up is Naruto Uzumaki from, well, Naruto. From an outcast kid to becoming the Hokage, Naruto embodies perseverance, empathy, and the idea that your past doesn't define your future. And from being a kid who's outcasted by everybody, I mean, like, in the first few bits of Naruto, everybody despised him. Mainly because he had what was known as a tailed beast inside him. And that tailed beast, who we later learn his true name is Kurama. Of course, he's been always gone by the title the Nine-Tailed Fox, or the Nine Tails for short. And Kurama was the reason that the Leaf Village many years ago was, in shambles, and was only by the heroics of Naruto's dad and mom, Minato, and oh my god, I can't remember the mom's name for my life, but with their heroics, they was able to seal the Nine Tails into Naruto. But because of that one act, Naruto has been an outcast just because of that one thing. And you wonder if he's ever going to get to a certain level of strength. But because that he has the Nine-Tailed Fox inside him, he's destined for great potential. Despite not having any family members as role models, he has gained role models that he treats as parent figures. You got Uraraka Sensei. You got the you got the ramen dude from his ramen shop, and you even got the goat himself, Jiraiya. You got Kakashi Sensei. You even got Might Guy. All of his mentors he treats as parent figures. And even along the line of Naruto Shippuden, where he actually, meets his father and mother, I guess spiritually in a way, you see Naruto's growth. And let's talk about his perseverance. Naruto, despite being outcast, despite being bullied, he has always shown this level of perseverance. No matter what, he's going to see his dream through of becoming Hokage, and he's not going to let anyone tell him negatively otherwise. His empathy. Obviously, the most powerful power in all of anime is Talk No Jutsu. That's what we claimed it to be. That's basically where Naruto talks to his enemies, tries to get a sort of empathy, some sort of, connection between them. And most of the time, it works. I mean, look at Nagato. Naruto had one conversation, Nagato was like, you know what? You're right. Look at Obito in the Great Ninja War. Taught no jutsu. Apparently it worked out. It took a long time, took a very long time, but finally Sasuke Uchiha, who was literally filled with hatred at the time because of many things, of what Itachi did. No spoilers, but if you know, then you know. He was just so filled. Sasuke was just so filled with hatred, and it took a very, very long time for Naruto to just reach in and pull that darkness out of him. It took one fight and apparently a loss of an arm for Sasuke to finally come to a realization. I don't know why it took you that long, sir, but it is what it is. but Naruto's empathy for his friends, for even his enemies. Oh my god, how can I forget Naruto versus Gaara? That is another great example of Naruto's empathy towards somebody. And if it wasn't for his empathy, Gaara would probably still be the monstrous kid we gotten to know in early Naruto. But he's able to, inspire a lot of people in his village. So yeah, from being completely hated, bullied, a complete outcast, for him just sitting on a swing set while other people enjoy their lives, chatting, playing with each other. He's just sitting there all by himself, to becoming one of the strongest ninjas of his village and becoming what he set out to be, the Hokage. And it definitely shows that the idea of your past doesn't define your future. You could have done so many things in your past, but you shouldn't let the past define what you are. You shouldn't let things that happened back then reoccur now. What you choose to do in this moment, in the present, that's how your future will be defined. And Naruto Uzumaki is a great representation of just that, everything that I just explained. Number 3, Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece. Freedom, loyalty, and adventure. Luffy isn't just a hero, he's a captain who inspires everyone he meets, and he lives by his own rules. Now, of course, Luffy has said many times in the anime he doesn't want to be treated as a hero because he's a pirate. And of course, pirates aren't exactly the good guys. But in Luffy's case, every single person that Luffy encounters in One Piece, he just inspires. He gives him what many of the Navy, basically the Navy is the government of this world, what some of the Navy couldn't even give them, and that's hope. Every single island that Luffy has encountered, every island that has been, struggling with a certain condition, a certain problem, or is being ruled by an evil tyrant, Luffy sees the problems that is happening and takes empathy on that and does whatever he can to liberate them. Of course, you gotta feed him first. It's been stated that if you give Luffy a good meal, him and his crew will do anything for your country. I mean, just look at Skypiea. Look at the Fishman Island. Wano's probably the best example of you feeding Luffy, and he's ready to just liberate a whole entire country. Whole Cake, Dressrosa. Well, actually not Whole Cake. Scratch that. Zou Island, all of the minks, which is basically the beastmen of that world. Everywhere that Luffy goes, he gives hope to people. He inspires people. And all he wants to do is just explore the whole world, live free, and just be able to go on his own adventures, to do what he wants. That's why I say he lives by his own rules. His crew gotta keep him in check sometimes when he does something stupid. But besides all that, Luffy just wants to enjoy his life as it is. And that is why he's a great candidate for the fruit that he ate. Because in the beginning of One Piece, it's the fruit that Luffy ate is mainly stated as the Gum Gum fruit. Right? You know, turns his body rubber. He could do so many rubber components, stretch his arms, turn himself into a balloon, all that good stuff. And of course, throughout the line of One Piece, his fruit gets stronger. He creates different gears. That's why I say we're switching gears. little joke. But he gets stronger, creates new forms for himself. Luffy is the one anime character where he has his own fighting style, and it's so unpredictable. You never know what Luffy's gonna throw out next. Like, it's every single attack is wacky. It's just weird, but it's effective in some weird way. And that's how Luffy fighting style is. That's his essence of freedom. He creates these moves himself, not knowing maybe what it will do, but it works in some way. And loyalty, I mean, his crew is a great example of loyalty towards Luffy, especially Zoro. From the moment that Luffy and Zoro, linked together and made a connection, Zoro's willing to do basically anything for Luffy. Okay? And it's not just loyalty, it's respect. Despite Luffy being Luffy, doing stupid stuff and practically putting his crew in danger or close to imminent death, they still respect Luffy as a captain. They are loyal to him in every way. And that's the great thing about Luffy's character. He's just the prime essence of freedom. To do what you desire to do. If you have dreams, if you have some ambitions, go for it. Go out there and work at it. You're not supposed to let somebody, dictate what your dreams and ambitions are. You make your own dreams. You make your own ambitions. And you go out there and seek them. And that's exactly what Luffy is. And that is why he has become one of my favorites. I was treading on watching One Piece from time to time, back in the day. Of course, mainly because it's like, oh, there's so many episodes, I don't know if I can catch up. And that's the basic thing about One Piece. Like, it's like, oh, there's so many episodes. It's like, it's so long. I don't have the attention span. Look, if you don't have the attention span to watch One Piece, that's fine. But I assure you, when you start One Piece, you start it piece by piece. No pun intended. Okay? You start it bit by bit, maybe like 4 to 5 episodes a day. And once you really get into One Piece, you will understand the creativity of Oda and the world that he's created. And Luffy is just one of those characters where you don't know what he's going to do, but when he does it, it's hilarious, but at the same time, you understand why he does it. And that's why Monkey D. Luffy is definitely a good candidate, being one of the greatest anime heroes of all time. Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach, a reluctant hero who just wants to protect his family and ended up carrying the fate of multiple worlds, and he shows the strength of responsibility. Now, again, I think I mentioned this in previous episodes. I am in the middle of playing the new Bleach game, Rebirth of Souls. I'm a new Bleach fan, and the current arc that I'm on in that game is the Soul Society arc. And I can see why Ichigo would be on this list, because, you know, he's he's this character that I can describe as willing to do anything for his loved ones. And we have many characters like that, to do anything for their loved ones. And Ichigo Kurosaki is definitely a character to know his weaknesses, looking to gain strength so that he can be able to protect those that he loves. And he's just a cool character in general. So, like, once again, while I am still, learning about Ichigo and all the characters of Bleach, I definitely can see why Ichigo is a great anime hero. Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Smart, stubborn, and selfless, Ed's journey proves a hero doesn't have to be the tallest or the strongest or basically the loudest, just the most determined. And the journey that Edward goes is something to study. These two brothers defied the laws of God, basically, laws of nature, by trying to bring their mother back, at the cost of Edward's arm and his brother's whole body. And he placed his brother's soul in a, metal suit of armor, and then go through this journey of trying to get his brother's body back. And you see that, yes, he's stubborn. He doesn't like to be called short. I'm pretty sure we can all relate to that. But, despite that, he's this kind individual. Definitely a person to seek out what he desires. Elric is, in my opinion, a character where, you can be stubborn, you can have all these traits, but as long as you have some type of determination for something, that's what makes you great. That's what makes you a true hero. And I respect that about Edward. And lastly, Deku, or aka Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. From powerless to the symbol of hope. Deku's journey reminds us what it means to inherit a dream and carry it forward. And with the final season of My Hero Academia coming next month, we definitely, if you have watched My Hero Academia, I definitely recommend it. I think I mentioned this back in a previous episode of Anime Talk. Please do not indulge in the MHA fandom. Don't do it. Just watch the show. Enjoy it the way that you want to enjoy it. Don't look at the fandom. Trust me. From my experience, just trust me. But Izuku Midoriya is just one of those prime examples of the essence of a true hero. From the start of My Hero Academia, you can sense that Izuku just wants to become a great hero. A hero that inspires others. A hero that can be able to save anybody that he can. And from going from having no quirk to ending up having one of the strongest quirks in the entire show, that takes a lot of responsibility. And Izuku had his ups and downs, learning how to control One For All, learning how to create new moves, and even learning how to make One For All his own. Because from majority of My Hero Academia, Deku was just trying to, control One For All and trying to use it the way that All Might does. But later on down in further seasons, you see him change from trying to replicate All Might's style of One for All to formulating it as his own. And it's such a cool sight to see Deku go from, this scrawny little crybaby. Oh, please tell me, Izuku Midoriya was slandered by a lot of people mainly because he cries a lot. That's just showing human emotion. Yes, he cries a lot. That's true. But isn't that just part of being human? We show emotion. And Deku kind of simplifies that a lot. But Deku is just this character where he's sweet, he's kind, and he is no stranger to showing that he is willing to go the distance to become a great hero. He's not a stranger to that. And I believe, along with his friends, he is capable of becoming an amazing hero. And I cannot wait to see the finale of this incredible story. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what will happen in this final season. But I got on the roller coaster. I got some loop-de-doops, some twists and turns, but I'm ready to see how all of this ends. And definitely will acknowledge Izuku Midoriya as a great anime hero. So why do we connect to heroes? At the end of the day, heroes just reminds us the best part of ourselves. Their struggles mirror our own. Their victories feel like ours too. And the main thing you got to remember is heroes are still human too. They go through certain situations like us as well. Okay? All of the best powerful heroes, they are still human. I mean, if any of y'all have seen the new Superman movie, Superman literally stated in that movie that he may have all of these powers, all right? He may be the superhuman being, but he is human too. He feels like a regular human. Okay? He struggles like a regular human. And so we all had to realize, while we love these heroes, why we are inspired by these heroes, we all got to remember that they are still human too. We see ourselves in their failures. We cheer when they rise again. And deep down, they make us believe maybe we can be a little heroic in our own lives too. And we can. We really do can feel like we could be a hero in our lives as well. Okay? That's it for today's episode. Villains may take the story darker. Villains may make the story darker, but it's the heroes who light the way. Next time, we are going to be talking about power systems and transformations, the heart of anime hype. What makes these transformations just so iconic and just gives us that hype moment like Avengers Endgame? That is what we're going to be talking about next episode. So, until then, keep chasing your dreams and keep your fire burning bright. I'm BlazeRod, and this was another episode of Anime Talk.